So you've watched every adventure video that's on YouTube, right? And then you decide, I'm going to go buy my first adventure bike. And I mean, I remember when I was there, I did that all wrong. When I decided I was going to get into adventure riding, I decided to buy the biggest adventure bike that you could buy, the Pan America. And I didn't have any experience. I had only ever ridden on the road. So from the get-go, my adventure career started off really rocky. And I don't mean in a good way. So really rocky. So Ben, today we're going to talk about Adventure Riding 101. And what we're going to do is break down this thing we call adventure riding. We're going to talk about what people need to know if you're wanting to get into adventure riding, and maybe some things we've learned, along the way.
I don't know that this is the group to ask, because your first bike was a Pan America, and my first bike was a 450 Honda Supermoto.
Yeah, maybe we're the right people because that's how we start.
Learn from my mistakes.
We've made plenty of mistakes, so maybe we could provide something to you that will be beneficial in this podcast. So let's set it up like this. Let's talk about this. When I first got my bike, I know I had plenty of embarrassing drops. I got my first adventure bike, and it's like a rite of passage. You have to put the bike down, And I learned really quickly that real adventure bike riders don't have the prettiest motorcycles. I think they are.
No, but their Facebook is full of pictures with their bikes laying on the sides and then standing on top of them.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I've never done that. I've never taken a picture standing on my bike.
Are you taking a picture with your bike laying on the ground?
I've taken a picture with me laying on my bike, sitting on my bike in exhaustion.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you actually, in fact, took a picture of me sitting on a bike and when I was exhausted, and we called that Robert Needs a Break.
Robert needs a break. Scott needs a break.
Tell me about your embarrassing first drop story, man.
I don't necessarily remember my first drop, but I bought that 450. I bought that 450 as a supermoto. I was a street rider, and I wanted a supermoto because it was cool. It also just came with dirt tires.
Yeah.
So I decided to put the dirt tires on it and go see what Shawnee had to offer. At the time, my cousin also had a 450 RL. He liked riding wheelies on back roads, and I liked riding off-roads. So we would ride the off-roads. We got to the bottom of this big old rock hill to work our way out, and it ended up dead end. We had to come back out, and we could not get that bike up the hill. So we were sitting at the bottom of that thing, trying to figure out how to get these bikes to the top, and I'm calling Jeep friends that have winches. Like, hey, can you come help me? Can you come?
This
is
before you had recovery equipment. This is when you first started.
I didn't have anything. I had a will to survive.
You had a helmet and Vans.
Yeah, the helmet and Vans. I think I might have been him.
We're in your Vans.
Yeah. So we finally, I called everybody, and it was Super Bowl weekend, so nobody could come because they would all been drinking for like 3 hours at this point. So we finally got it out, but man, it was hours of just re-hitting this hill over and over and over again. We finally got lucky and got that bike out.
Yeah. Well, at least your embarrassing drop is adventurous. Like my first drop was embarrassing, really embarrassing. Mine was in a parking lot. It was at a gas station parking lot. So, it's not really a very funny story. I guess you might find it funny because it wasn't you, but you know how sometimes when you pull into gas stations and you pull up to the pumps and there's like the concrete is kind of sloped. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
It's got a little slope, and so I did that with my adventure bike, and I ride a Pan America. And so anyone who watches this that rides a Pan America will know that the kickstand on the Pan America really sucks. Like the angle of it and how you have to get it out of the bike, and you lean it, and then it's the kickstand basically is like too long. When you have the adaptive ride height, it sits down, and then you have to lean your bike to get the kickstand out. Well, I didn't know that because I just bought the bike, and I didn't even know what adaptive ride height was. Right? I didn't even know. So I get there and I put my kickstand out, and I can't get the kickstand out like all the way, and so I just kind of jammed it far enough that I thought it caught.
And it wasn't far enough.
And I got off the bike. And as I tried to get off the bike, I immediately realized the bike was, in fact, standing straight up and not leaning. And so I just fell over on my bike. Like I tried to stand up to get up. I'm still on the bike, and it falls. It's fully loaded. Like there's camping gear and stuff like that. It's fully loaded bike. Then that Pan America probably right now at that moment probably weighs 700 pounds. And I'm sitting there full adventure gear. I got my jacket, my helmet, my boots, everything on. I look like an astronaut at the gas station. And my bike's laying there. It's the most embarrassing thing ever because like people are driving by and they're just looking at me and I can't pick this bike up because it's 700 pounds. It's fully loaded. And so I'm just standing there at the gas station and I'm looking around like, will someone help me?
Like 80-year-old grandma comes and helps you. Don't worry, Sonny. I'll help you get that bike up.
Yeah. Fortunately, someone did come help me. We stood that bike up and I learned a valuable lesson. But that was, yours actually happened on an adventurous trail. Mine happened.
My story makes it sound pretty cool, yeah. But going back to look at it now, it's probably just like a little.
Yeah. My first wipeout was on a Sinclair bump.
A little dinosaur in the corner, like just judging. I
bet I was judged hard that day. So we've talked a little bit about bikes, and one of the top things that adventure riders, guys who are, say guys and gals, like who are wanting to get into adventure riding, one of the top things they ask is about bike choice. Right? And even on like this channel, I get questions from people like, hey, first time rider, what kind of bike should I get? And that's a really loaded question in my opinion. But let's talk a little bit about bike choice. Let's spend a few minutes talking about that. What kind of advice would you give to someone who is looking for an adventure bike and maybe doesn't have the experience yet?
My first question would be, what is your definition of adventure?
Okay.
So if it is well-maintained gravel roads and it's pavement and it's riding to national parks and it's seeing the sights, the bike that I'm going to recommend to you is very, very different than if it's, I want to go ride every 300 road in Land Between the Lakes, or I want to go ride the off-road parks on a big bike or whatever. Yep. If you're wanting to get into the hard off-road stuff, smaller, lighter, you don't need big motors, something like a 300L Rally.
Yeah.
You can put saddlebags on it. You can go anywhere you want with a little bit of work, which we can talk about the parts and stuff later, but a little bit of work, you can make that bike excellent. But if your goal is to ride across the country and go to Pikes Peak and go to Yellowstone and go to the Tetons and hit some gravel roads and some easy stuff, something like the Pan America or the Africa Twin, probably be pretty good. I don't really want to ride a 300L 2,000 miles.
Yeah. I mean, the advice that's solid advice, dude, because like what I would say is you should, ignore the bike that everyone on YouTube is riding, right? Because what you see on YouTube is these big GSs and everyone has these big, huge touring bikes with aluminum panniers.
Bikes or bad decisions.
Exactly. Either they're getting sponsored, right? They're a sponsored rider, or yeah. I mean, those big bikes are a goal, right? They're not a starter, right? So I know I started with a Pan America, but if I could go back, especially like you just said, like for the type of riding that I enjoy doing, man, there's 100 other bikes that would have been better for me to start on,
it's like Heather. She started out, I don't know, most of you have met Heather if you've met us. That's my wife. But she started out with a Pan America as well, because we come from the Harley background. And she wanted to stay with Harley, so she got the Pan America, and that was also a very big. She did some riding with it. She did a little bit of racing with it. We finally convinced her that the thing was too big.
Yeah, and
we moved her to a Ténéré, and since then, like she has just, the learning curve is significantly less.
Oh my gosh, it's incredible. The amount that she has improved as a rider in the last 12 months on that smaller bike is noticeably different.
Imagine if I could convince her to get on an actual small bike.
Yeah. I mean, Ténéré is still a pretty good sized bike. That's a great starter bike for guys that want to travel distance. Like if you're watching this and your goal is BDRs, right?
Ténéré is a
great bike for the for the BDRs. But there's also a long list of other good mid-sized bikes like that Cove 800.
Yep.
Great bike.
890, KTM 890.
Our buddy Gunny. Our buddy Gunny.
Your buddy Gunny.
Gunny rides a Cove, and he's had nothing but good things to say about that bike. And honestly, I've seen it perform pretty well in conditions. So that's a great starter bike, and it's affordable. It's so much easier to walk into adventure riding when your initial purchase, is an $8,000 motorcycle instead of a $24,000 motorcycle. It's so much easier to get into the sport if you start that way as well. And so BDRs, distance travel, if you're going to be moto camping, those mid-size ADV bikes really where it's at for beginners, I think.
Well, you start out with a mid-sized ADV bike and you put all your camping gear on it, and then you're at the weight of a big bike.
Yes.
So you're already, you take a big bike and then you put all that gear on it. Now you're 700 pounds and it's hard to pick it up. Ténérés are hard to kind of pick up when they're naked, let alone when they've got another 200 pounds of gear on them.
I think that's a weight distribution thing on it too. The Ténéré's got a kind of a high gas tank, so it's a little bit harder to pick up.
Entry level.
It is affordable, and I love the idea about the 300L too. We have a friend of ours. Matt, KY Rally Rider, shout out to him. He just got back from the 24-hour of Appalachia race, and he's done 2 of them this year on a 300L rally. Yeah, those are long races.
They're extremely capable bikes.
They're good bikes, and they're super affordable. Again, something you can get into the sport. And they pack well.
Another thing that I don't know, this doesn't get brought up enough, but it's low maintenance.
Yeah, dude, Hondas are very low maintenance bikes.
The 300Ls. Or the 250Ls, whatever you get, they're super low maintenance because that motor and that frame comes out of more street bike stuff, but it's been adapted to off road, and it's got like 7,000 mile oil change intervals. It's just, it's good.
Yeah, they're good. I'm a big fan of the 300L. I grew out of that pretty quickly, so I didn't go back. But you know what?
I did as well. But I'm looking back at going back into something like that. I've got the 302 strokes, and I've got the Sportster, and we've got access to Pan Americas and Ténérés. I'm honestly looking at a 300L rally just to have something that's simple, low maintenance, just get on it and go, and kind of just bump its way through anything. Yeah,
they're pretty sweet bikes, and when you're making a decision about a new adventure bike, there are a few things that we want to take into consideration. Some key pieces that we want to talk about and say you need to consider this. The first is weight, right? That's a huge consideration. So
I don't want to say that's should be your key.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're going for off road.
Well, even if you're not, if you're learning how to ride off-road at all, true. Even gravel roads, if you're an 165-pound guy and you buy a 600-pound motorcycle, that's a big jump in weight for you as opposed to a 400-pound motorcycle.
Sure.
It's easier to pick up when you fail. It's easier to feel in control of when you're in a standing position, or whenever you're at a stopped position. You can put your feet down and feel like you have control of that motorcycle. I think confidence is really important when you first start in adventure riding. So finding the bike that weighs the right amount for you builds a lot of confidence for new guys. It gives them a sense of control over the motorcycle, at least in my opinion, and also confidence that when they drop it, they can pick it up.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. There's a reason why we go to our small bikes when we...
Oh, absolutely. Anytime you and I are going to be ripping stuff that we've never been on that we know, we're hitting the small bikes first. And then we might say, all right, let's go get the big bikes and try it. But we start on the little bikes. How about seat height? Talking about seat height, how important is that for new riders?
I've got a love-hate relationship with that. I've had Heather multiple times wanting to lower bikes, and I won't let her do it because then you lose ground clearance to go over logs and stuff. But same thing with the weight, the confidence. Having a low seat height where you can touch the ground does help the confidence. Now, you're starting ADV riding, you're starting off-road riding. You don't have to put both feet on the ground all the time. 1 foot on the ground is good enough. You just need to get comfortable rotating back and forth.
Yeah. I personally like both feet on the ground when I'm stopped, if I can. But now that you mentioned that, I'm thinking about I don't really put both feet down very often anymore. Just out of instinct. I always keep a foot on the peg because when you're riding off road,
I like to be able to control my rear brake.
Yeah, I like to have the rear brake right there when I'm off road. So even like on road now, I notice that when I stop, it's one leg, it's my left leg that goes down almost always, and my right foot is just covering the brake. Yeah, that's funny how subconsciously you don't even think about it until you think about it. You know, like
I've had this conversation enough.
Yeah,
everybody wants to be able to put both feet on the ground, so they start lowering stuff, and the next thing you know, you're high centering on little hills and logs.
Yeah, I agree. Keep in mind we're talking about beginners.
Yes.
So we're talking to beginners. I would never lower a bike. Matter of fact, I turn off my ride height on my pan now.
But they do make low seats.
They do.
So
you can get the seat lowered a little bit.
I've done that on both of my bikes. My Sportster and my 300 both have chopped seats that are lower to where I can touch the ground better.
Yeah, the other consideration when we're talking about bikes that you might want to take into account is the percentage of off-road versus highway riding you're going to do. And I have a buddy of mine, I can give him a shout out, Kyle. We've talked a ton about adventure riding. You know, he's got a Ténéré. He's been, you know, I guess the adventure word for it is farkling it, right? He's doing the farkles. I think that is the weirdest term for accessorizing ever, but farkling.
It's just part of it. You know, customize it, make it your own.
Yeah. I just don't like calling it farkle.
I like it. I'm going to start using it.
You like that?
Yeah, it's kind of like moist.
Don't like that one either. I'm not a fan of that one either.
Just moist farkles.
You have problems if you got moist sparkles, man. So whenever you're, I've been talking to Kyle about his bike and some of the accessories that he's doing to his bike. And one of the things I keep asking him is like, how much off-road are you going to do compared to highway? Because you know how I am. I hate tire review videos. You'll never see one on this channel until you do, I guess. But I talk about tires. I know a ton about tires. It's something you and I are constantly discussing is the tires we run.
They do make a big difference.
Tires make a huge difference, but they only make a difference if you pick the right tire for what you're riding. You know what I mean? Like it's a match. Like you can't just go buy the gnarliest tire and expect to all of a sudden you're a hero. No.
Your tires are part of it, but the majority of it is your skill.
So I talked to Kyle about it, and he's like, I'm going to get he starts the conversation with, in this, Kyle, if you're watching this, leave me a comment, dude, if you decided on your tires. But he leaves me a comment, or he reaches out to me and he says, hey, I'm wanting to get more into dirt riding. That's what he says. I want to get more off-road, Robert. And evidently, I'm the guy to go to, me and you. Like, people are sending us messages. I want to do this. I want to go off-road. What do I do? And I tell him, buy the knobbiest tires that you can get for the Ténéré.
I keep telling him to go buy the Plouffe big boy.
Yes, that's what I told him. Well, he was like, I want the Rawls, the Motaz Rawls. And I was like, with the Ténéré, dude, you can get much gnarlier tires.
Get Plouffe's big boys.
And
he's like, dude, I got to ride this thing to work.
So, that's exactly what he told me. He said, well, I'm going to be doing highway too. And I'm like, you don't want those. But then if you're wanting to get better at dirt, there's not a tire that does both great. Like, we talk about it. Every tire manufacturer sells the idea. You can ride this on the road and it's beautiful. But you can go, climb these gnarly rock shelves and get in these.
Just the definition of ADV riders and ADV bikes as a whole.
We're just selling the dream.
Yeah. You can go and ride to the top of that mountain and then go to Starbucks and then go to work all in the same morning.
That is the adventure dream.
It's at least the GS dream.
Everyone's getting rich on it but me.
Yeah, me too. I'm spending all my dollars.
Everyone's getting rich on this dream but us. But I will say that he's making a decision on his tire selection based on the percentage of off-road and on-road riding. And so he chose, I'm pretty sure that he's chosen to do like the dual venture tire, which is, in my opinion, a 50-50. They would say on their website it's probably a 60-40 But
I kept trying to push him to the 606 or the D Sport.
Yeah. I did the same thing. Is if you want to ride dirt, if you really want to get good at dirt, you're going to have to burn a set of tires on the dirt. That's just the way it is. There's no way to get good at riding off road unless you actually ride off road. So you're going to burn through a set of tires. This last year, dude, I've put 3 sets of adventure tires on my bike.
I feel like because I'm always in the tire debate of like, well, I want this tire or I want this tire and this is what I'm doing. I've gotten really good at spooning tires in the last 2 years.
You are really good at it.
because I've got that stupid Sportster that I race and then also try to do adventure bike stuff. So it's like, we're going racing this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm spooning a gummy tire on it, and then we come home from the race, and I immediately spoon that off, spoon a 606 on it to go to the Shawnee.
You're very good at spooning tires.
I need to just buy more wheels.
Dude, okay, so adventure, this is not an Adventure 101 thing, but if you're watching this and you get to the place where you burn through tires so much and or you ride such different terrain so much that you are considering buying wheels, you're not really a beginner anymore. Just putting that out there. Like, I don't know any beginner adventure riders that when they go to buy their bike, they say, give me two extra sets of wheels, or give me an extra set of wheels. You know what I mean?
I don't know very many people that are that way, period. But
I don't either, but we need to make more of them like that.
Yeah.
We need to help you. We need to encourage you to buy more wheels. Stuff. Do harder stuff if you want to be better. You have to ride hard.
If you buy more wheels, they become cheaper for all the rest of us.
And I'll drop a link in my affiliate for your wheels if you want to hit those, help out your moto travel guy.
Or I'll just take donations for my wheels.
Let's talk about this a little bit. So we're still on bikes. We've established that, big touring adventure bikes aren't super great for beginners. We've talked about that sweet spot being 3 to 700, 3 to 800 cc range for the new riders. Check out seat height compared to your inseam. Make sure you're comfortable. Weight of the bike. And considering how much on and off road you're going to ride.
That's the big one. Just have a real conversation with yourself of not only what you want to do, because sometimes what you want to do and what you're actually going to do are very unrealistic. They're very different. What are you actually going to use this bike for?
Correct. Yeah. Because, I remember when I first bought my adventure bike, I had dreams of riding BDRs. That was I bought it because I wanted to go ride BDRs. I want to live the dream, man. I want to get out there and camp. And
the adventure bike dream.
I wanted to live on the road. And then I felt the first thrill of adventure behind Black Diamond Harley Davidson on the grass in their yard when I was riding, and I was like, oh man, I'm gnarly. I'm riding in the grass.
I jumped the parking curb.
You know what I mean? I hit that curb at 6 miles an hour. Dude, I'm in this. And the truth is I was so far away from that dream when I first started. Now I really am living it. I do BDRs. I go to rallies. I ride my bike in places that people would not imagine a Pan America can go. We do those things together, but it didn't start there. This has been
a couple of years.
This has been a few years in the making. But the dream was to get there. So the other thing I want to at least talk to the people about, anyone who's considering getting into adventure riding, is the debate between new and used bikes.
Oh, that's not even a debate. Used, 100%.
Yeah,
used.
That's what I said. That's what I was feeling too. I was hoping you'd say that.
Find a used bike that somebody thought they were going to do the dream, and it's already got the crash bars, and it's already got the tires, and it's already got the saddlebags.
You find those used Farkle freaks, bud. Get them.
Find the used moist Farkles. And buy it.
Buy that. The truth about the new and the used thing is for two reasons, I think used is best for beginners. The first is that it costs way less. You can find a used bike even with low miles. I'm talking late year. You can find right now on Facebook 2024 and 5 Ténérés with 7,000 miles on it for $8,500.
I actually just had a friend that was looking for a Ténéré. He just bought, I think 2 days ago, a 2025 Ténéré that had all of the moist Farkles on it.
Yes.
I think the thing had 700 miles on it. And he paid $9,000 for it.
Yeah. So, as opposed to buying a brand new one after taxes and titles out the door, you're like $13,000,
Plus then you got to put another $3,000, $4,000 worth of
It's just, guys, if you're wanting to get into adventure riding, used is the way to go. Find the used bike for the money, but then also used bikes, I don't know, in my mind anyway, there is a disconnect in my mind about how much I can abuse this motorcycle if it's new or used. I want the new bike to look new for a long time, because especially if you're one of those guys that you have to take a payment out. I'm fortunate that I don't have motorcycles with payments, But like, if you buy a $24,000
It hurts to
motorcycle,
scratch the bank's bike.
oh my gosh, dude! When the bank doesn't like their bike getting scratched either, you know. But like the used bike, like here's a great example. The first year that you and I started riding together, right? I call you up and say, man, I want to come. My BDR dream fell through, right?
Oh, so when you come
Remember
to Red
that?
River with
And
it,
I came to Red River
the
with
hurricane year.
The
for those
hurricane
that
year.
know.
Yeah. And if I hadn't have gone there, man, the whole trajectory of my riding would have been different. But
We had a long conversation about this on the way home from South Dakota.
we did. But I was going to go to BDR. It fell through. And then I call you and say, hey, man, I have nowhere to ride. You're like, come to Red River with me. Which now knowing you seems super weird because you don't just do that with people. But I guess I got lucky. You were like, come to Red River with me, meet me down there, we'll ride. And you mentioned to me, anyway, you made some kind of comment that made me feel like we were going to tear stuff up.
That's generally what we do.
Yeah. I mean,
Inappropriate bikes doing inappropriate things.
that probably is what it was. And I immediately knew I can't take this brand new Pan America down there and tear it up. So what I did is I went and bought a used WR250.
That was probably the best thing you could have done.
That was the best decision of my riding
You
career.
did bring the Pan America, though.
I brought it and I rode it, but I didn't. Actually, it did get torn up, didn't it? The right-hand control module went out on
Pan
it.
America did Pan America.
Pan America, the Pan America did its thing. But I brought that WR down there. I think I gave like $3,000 for a used bike online. And granted,
He was pretty tired.
dude, it was worn out. That bike was worn out. But
I think, and I quote the suspension guy that you took it to, dude, you just need an entire new front end on this thing. We can't fix this.
yeah. So we took it down there, and the reason why I bought that bike was because Ben had said he made me feel like we're going to tear things up. I'm like, I'm not tearing up my new bike, so I went and bought a cheap, very small, dual sport bike, and I went down there and I wrecked it over and over and over again. I rode things that were hard and tore that bike up, and I didn't feel bad about it for a second. When I tore the tail lights off of it and the front fender got bent, like all the stuff was, I didn't feel bad about it because it wasn't a $25,000 motorcycle.
Cheap used bike.
A cheap used bike. And so for beginners, that's our advice. Look for a used bike because used bikes are way cheaper and you don't mind to tear them up a little bit.
Cheap used bike. You need a Chub. Get a Chub.
Get a Chub. You ever been to like the gas station? They have those jars of those things they call little Chubs.
Yeah.
Or little LIL, little Chubs.
Yeah, get a little Chub.
Get a little Chub. Bring one to Red River if you're coming.
Yeah, bring me a little Chub.
Good grief. All right. So if you're going to buy a used bike, any things we need to look out for? From your extensive experience in the used motorcycle world, what are some things that maybe new riders ought to look out for in buying used bikes?
Man, I just look at the overall maintenance of the thing. I mean, when you show up to it, if it's got 1,500 miles on it, but it looks like it's been drugged down a mountain, like that's probably not the bike that I would recommend for you. Check, honestly, a couple of things that I look at is the sprockets.
Mm-hmm.
Those are wearable items that people tend to not pay attention to, and it'll tell the story of the bike. But what I have found, especially on the adventure bikes, when you start talking about dirt bikes, it's a whole different deal. But on the adventure bikes, what I've found is 90% of people don't abuse their big bikes. And so you're generally okay. These used Ténérés that have 4,000, 5,000 miles on them.
Yep.
They're probably mostly pavement with a little bit of gravel.
Yeah, the truth is, like 95% of the people you would buy a used adventure bike from, that's probably like a brand new motorcycle.
Yeah.
But if I was selling mine,
yours is a different story.
I would say you probably don't want to buy my Pan America if I ever put it for sale.
I think when you walk in their garage and you see a bunch of racing trophies and stuff on the walls and you look at that bike, you're like, dude, this thing has 500 miles on it. Like, why does it look like that's probably not the bike you want? I have a whole garage full of those bikes, but
yeah, you got to be careful. But that's all good. That's all good stuff. I mean, new riders don't generally know mechanically what to look for on bikes.
Look at the sprockets. Look at the tires. Just the overall appearance of the bike will tell the story.
Yeah, you can also tell a lot by the seller.
Yes, yeah, you
who's
can.
selling it. So if you roll up to a guy's house and he weighs 400 pounds,
He's probably not climbing mountains and abusing it.
yeah, he's probably not the most aggressive off-road rider.
Yeah, but if you show up there and the bike does look kind of rough, but you know, because it's been obviously ridden off-road, it is an adventure bike. But you pull up and he's got 6 other motorcycles in the garage, and he's got a motorcycle lift, and he's got a big 72-inch toolbox, and like he's probably pretty handy, and the maintenance has probably been stayed on top of.
Yeah, all good advice, man. Good. So there's your new bike information. If you're beginning in the adventure world, you know, do what you want to do with that information.
Just call Robert. He'll just go look at all the new bikes with you, or used bikes with you. He'll be your personal like bike inspector.
You know, somebody's going to do that now. Someone's going to be like messaging, or they're going to drop a comment and be like, "Hey, I live in Waukegan, Illinois. Can you come up and look at this bike or something?"
He'd love to come look at them with you.
I have nothing else to do but to drive to your house and go look for bikes. But if you do have questions, you can drop those in the comments, and I'll do the best I can to give you some solid advice on your new bike purchase. Yeah. So now we talked about bikes. The next thing, right, that is important is the modifications.
What kind of oil do you use?
You know, only Motul, bud.
Olive oil.
Motul only for this guy. As I've got a, bottle of Yama lube behind you. But, so we were talking about modifications for adventure bikes. The truth is there's a short list of modifications that really matter. Like they're really important. And then there's a very long list that's really just you spending money to look like an adventure rider. You know what I mean? Like
buying the dream.
That's the truth. We're buying the dream, guys. And, they're selling it and we're buying it. So let's talk about let's say like 3 or 4 things that you think are super important for your new adventure bike that we can't skip on. What would be the first
I guess
one?
Again, this would be the great time to ask, what are you planning on doing with the bike?
Mm-hmm.
If you're, we'll stick to just normal adventure bike riding, BDRs. We'll just shoot for BDRs here.
Sure.
Obviously you need some kind of saddlebag.
Okay.
And I would recommend not hard aluminum bags. I would get soft bags.
Yeah. So I agree. I like aluminum panniers.
They look cool.
I like them a lot. My Africa Twin has them, but I'm also an advanced rider. I would not have wanted to learn on those because you fall a lot more. You put your feet down. You dab a lot more.
I tend to hit trees with them.
Yeah, and on a BDR, you're not hitting trees with them generally. I mean, that's 3-track.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
It's
we're not doing single track through the woods on a BDR. But so adventure riders, luggage is a consideration. I would say that it's probably important. I would say that there's other options to for like soft. I have Moscow soft bags on my
but then you've also got the Tusk brand stuff that's affordable.
Absolutely. I was going to say like the more affordable stuff you can get out there. Even like the rackless stuff, like our buddy Ryan runs that on his, and Scott does too, right? He has a rackless system.
Yeah,
he has Moscow because he's got money, but
he rides a Ducati.
He's rich. He's rich. He rides a Ducati, but I think there are plenty of options out there that are affordable to get you into the moto camping world. You don't have to spend $1,500 on a luggage rack system. But even before you get there, Ben,
what I would spend my money on is a good helmet, a good pair of boots, and a good set of gloves.
There you go. And all of those things are not related to the bike, but absolutely. Gloves, boots, and helmet.
I would not cheap out on those. Adventure bike boots are a scam.
They are. I rode a pair of Formas.
That's what my first boots were too, and they might as well have just been hiking boots.
Well, there's just no ankle protection in them, and fortunately I never got an injury with them. But then again, when I first got started, I rode really, really light off-road stuff and gravel roads, and I wasn't really in a place where I was climbing rock hills and
No, but you could also, if your goal is to ride the alt hards, more aggressive stuff with your adventure bike, just from the get-go, buy some sort of enduro or motocross boot that gives you good ankle support. The Alpine Star Tech 7s. I think that's what you ride in right now.
I got
Or Tech
threes.
3s.
I use threes right now because they're easier to walk in.
Yep, the Tech
than the
3s
sevens.
are a good entry-level boot. They're not
I think they
outrageously expensive, but they're quality. If you've got a little bit more money to spend, the Tech 7s are really good. That's what I've rode in forever. I've just recently bought Tech 10s. Really like the Tech 10s, but they are very expensive. The 7s and the 3s are awesome.
I would say new riders, the 7s and 10s might be a little stiff and feel awkward for new riders who are still learning how it feels off-road. And that's why so many guys go to adventure boots.
Because they give you feeling.
They give you the feeling and flexibility. And they're also easy when you're on a BDR or you're doing one of the dream rides and you want to go see the sights. They're super comfortable to walk in. Yeah. Like you can hike in those things.
The Tech Series boots are not hiking boots.
They're not. But I mean, I still do it when we go on rides. But they're definitely not comfortable. But they will save you from an ankle injury that the adventure boots will not save you from.
It's hard to hike with a broken ankle.
Facts. That's a fact. Yeah. So helmet too. The helmet is another thing that I didn't really understand when I first got started. The first adventure bike helmet that I had was actually just a road helmet. Mm-hmm. It was just a road helmet that I bought when I was actually out on a BDR. I was doing a BDR, or I was not on a BDR. I was doing a road tour with my dad. And I stopped at a Harley store and I bought one of these helmets.
Did you leave home without a helmet?
I did. Because where I'm from in Illinois, it's not the law to ride with a helmet. And how stupid was I? I actually did that. I rode my motorcycle without a helmet pretty regularly. And now looking back on that, I'm like, why did I do that? Because it was cool, and on the summer months, it was way more comfortable, to not have a helmet on. But, now, you couldn't get me on a motorcycle without a helmet on now.
There's been a very short list of times that I've rode without my helmet, and it's an extremely short distance. And in that extremely short distance, God, this is awful. The wind in my ears and the bugs.
Well, that's the thing, Ben, isn't it? Like when you buy a nice helmet,
it makes a huge difference.
It makes a huge difference on the enjoyment of your ride. Like you can buy trash helmets that you spend $89 on from Amazon, put them on your head and go ride. But it's going to feel like it's going to feel like garbage. You're going to have super wind noise. It's going to buffet your head. The visor's probably not going to seal on it, and it's just going to be a mess. And you're going to be like, I would be better off without a helmet. But if you spend the money on an actual nice adventure helmet, or like we have a bunch of helmets between us.
I've been riding for 12 years.
I pick which helmet I want to use for what ride I'm going to go on. Sure. So, but it's money well spent. I mean, they're expensive. Good adventure helmets are expensive.
You don't have to spend. I'm riding in a Climb helmet now that I really, really enjoy, and that's like a freaking $600 helmet. Yeah. You don't have to spend.
It's the one behind you.
It is, yeah.
That's actually mine, but it's that helmet.
F3, I think that's called, or whatever. But and that one's nice because it's carbon fiber. It's lightweight. The padding is really nice. It has extremely good airflow. But you can get good helmets that are comfortable with decent airflow. They're maybe not as light, but for $200.
Yeah.
I think your first adventure bike helmet, not the street helmet, but your actual first adventure bike helmet, and mine were the same. It was the Bell MX9 Adventure. Yep. And that's like a $200 helmet, and it's really good. It's just heavy, but it's really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah, the Adventure helmet, which has the visor on. They make one that doesn't have a visor, and they make one that does. And the Adventure one is a little more. I think it was like $280 or something like that. But it's a great helmet for the money.
And what's really nice about it is you can flip that visor up and still put goggles on. Yeah. They made it specific, or you just take the visor or the actual visor off.
Yeah. Now, when I'm adventure riding and I'm doing stuff like BDRs, I prefer a visored helmet. When I'm riding primarily off road, I don't want the visor. I want goggles. It's just about how much highway you're going to do as opposed to how much in the woods. And so it's for me, the helmet's super important, and it's something that I waited too long to get to really. I mean, I'll never go back at this point.
You're spoiled.
I'm spoiled. I'll never go back to crappy helmets again. It's worth the money. It protects you, and it makes riding so much more comfortable. And we didn't even talk about like the media. Like a good helmet, you can hear your cardo. You can hear the music playing. Like those crappy helmets, dude, you can't even hear.
No. No, and if you don't have to spend big money on a helmet to get a good helmet. But if you do have the money and you're willing to spend it, just jump straight into a top level helmet.
Just start with the showy, start with the climb. You know, there's a handful of them out there. The Liat 9.5 is a great helmet. Like just start with the good stuff if you have the money to do it. Trust me, you won't look back. You know,
gloves are actually pretty inexpensive. The only thing I would recommend is get something that has touchscreen on it.
Yeah,
because you're going to do your GPS just touchscreen.
I'm getting ready to buy a new set of gloves because mine doesn't work.
That's funny. We use the same gloves.
We have the exact same gloves. Like they're $25 MSR gloves. Yep. You know, they're cheapies. I like them. And I don't like a lot of padding and stuff. I don't like the armored gloves. I prefer just something that's light. And so I don't spend a ton of money on gloves. I know I gave you a set of gloves one time because when I was buying the Adventure Dream, I bought
the up armored ones. Gage uses those almost
Revit,
every day, right?
They were Revit, I think, Revit gloves, and they didn't fit me because I guess those Europeans have baby hands and they call them big hands. So like I have actually big hands, you see, and so so I bought the size of glove that I would normally wear in America. And Revit sends me this midget glove. And so I'm like, hey, you got a kid that could use these gloves? And I gave you.
15-year-old kid uses them.
But I just buy the cheapies, man. They do it for me.
Yep. Just touchscreen.
So we talked about boots, helmet, gloves. That's it. Now, let's go back to the bike. Those are all safety accessories. Let's talk about bikes. Like priority number one for me is going to be tires. Because almost all stock tires are not going to take you where you want to go, even if it's a BDR.
Especially not as a beginner rider.
It's not going to take you there. So the first thing that I would do when I bought a adventure bike is I would immediately look at changing my tires. And that's just part of the purchase of the bike. That's why I look at just part of the purchase. If you're going to do BDRs, you need at least, in my opinion, if you're a new rider, you need at least a 70-30 tire.
70-30 off-road.
Yeah, 70-30 off-road. And I say 70-30 because all manufacturers, they're full of BS. They tell you a 50-50 tire.
That's a street tire.
That's a street tire, dude. A 50-50 tire is a street tire, straight up. The Michelin Scorchers that came on my Pan America, they call those 50-50s. It's a street tire, you know, and you can't do anything. You can hardly ride those in gravel, you know. So the first thing is tires. So,
which again, there's pretty good options out there that are not real expensive.
Yeah. Look at Tusk.
Tusk, that's exactly the brand that comes to mind.
Tusk makes some really good, like BDR Slayer tires.
2-track.
Yeah, the 2-track's it's a great tire for not a lot of money. So just take my advice on this. Take Ben and I's advice. We've done this. We've been around. Your tires should be priority. Farkle.
Moist Farkle.
Oh, they're going to get moist. They're going to get moist. All right, how about crash protection?
You need it.
You need crash protection because, you know, you're going to drop it in a gas station or on a hill somewhere. You're going to drop your bike.
And then you get to take the ADV person picture of your bike.
Yes.
On the ground.
Make sure you stand on it in the gas station. And
maybe
then,
not everybody stands on it. Maybe it's just maybe a Heather thing.
And then send it to me. Like, I want to see your pictures. I want to see your pictures of you standing on your crashed motorcycles. I'm talking to you. Anybody watching this, I want to see.
Moto Travel Guy.
Tag me in
crash pictures.
Tag me in your pictures on Facebook. I know you're on Facebook because you wouldn't be riding BDRs if you weren't on Facebook. Right?
I don't know about the correlation there, but we'll go with it.
Oh. I was thinking like middle-aged white dudes, you know, they're all on Facebook.
I'm still on MySpace, dude.
If I was on MySpace,
you'd be in my top 8.
I was going to ask you, would you be in my top 8?
Yeah,
I think so. I think so. All right. What else? How about, so crash protection, we're talking about engine guards. Talk to me about hand guards.
Man,
let's talk about hand guards, bro.
I don't know if I'm ready to talk about that yet. I have always been a proponent of hand guards, like crash guards, not flags, but full-on wraparound hand guards.
What's flags for new people?
Flags are like what comes on your bike where it's just a plastic piece. It's there basically to block a tree branch.
Or wind.
Yeah. And then you get the full wraparound, which is like, it's got the metal bar that goes all the way around.
Mm-hmm. It calls Bark Busters as a brand?
Yep. They protect your levers, and they protect your bars, and all kinds of stuff. I have always been a proponent, strong advisor of those. But recently in South Dakota.
Why is that?
I had a crash, and I have always heard guys say that they don't run them because they'll break your arms, they'll break your wrists, and I'm like, I've crashed a lot, and I've never had that until the other weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm still in the mixed field about it, where like half of me's like, the heck with those hand guards, I'm taking those things off and putting flags on everything. I've told people that in the last week because I've been angry, but and now I'm starting to go back. Like, I've crashed a lot. I've had one instance where I had a head-on collision with another bike, and it actually happened. But
yep,
I don't know. I'll leave that one up to you. It will break your wrist in the right circumstances.
It's a fact. And for what it's worth, I run flags on my small bikes.
Yep.
And I run bark busters on my big bikes. I'm more likely to act foolish on my little bike than I am my big bike most of the time. And I realize that foolish behavior will lead to me breaking my wrist. And so
I did this on my big bike.
He, in fact, did. That was on your big bike. But I'm not taking mine off of the Pan America or the Africa Twin. I'm leaving my bark busters on them, but I will never put them on my dual sport.
Yeah, I've got the flags for my little bike, but yep. I don't know. We'll see.
So yeah, like Ben said, use your judgment on it. Take our advice for what it's worth.
The one that's not controversial is the motor and case guards.
Nope,
just
that's
go
not.
with those.
Just make sure you get some way to protect your engine, and also skid plate. Like, make sure you have a skid plate if you're going to go off road. I had an unfortunate incident this spring where I got a rock stuck up underneath my skid plate in my engine, log jump, and we got a very free air vent in the bottom of my motor. So skid plates matter, make sure you got a good skid plate. And I've bent the one on my Pan America to death where I've had to actually grind around the edges of it so that it will fit back underneath my bike. Because that thing I have went over so many huge rocks and logs that my Pan America, and it's not a cheap one. It's a black dog. Like, it's the most sturdy skid plate that you can buy.
I don't know that you can buy a more sturdy skid plate, but you're also taking a 600-pound bike and bashing it into stuff. So
yeah, and
I guess it's doing its job.
It's definitely doing its job because the motor doesn't have a hole in it.
True.
But I have bent, heated, grinded that thing to fit it back up under there so I could put my kickstand up. And yeah, so I would advise you to get a skid plate if you're going to ride off road. Things you can skip early. How about auxiliary lighting? I see a lot of guys that just light their bikes up. They buy those Denali kits and
I personally just don't really ride at night.
Yeah.
Especially not adventure bike riding. I don't do a whole lot of that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about that. Because when my dad first bought his adventure bike.
He bought the Denalis, the big boy lights.
He did. And they're expensive.
Yeah,
and they're nice. Like, they're nice lights. And I guess in his mind, he thought we were going to go adventure riding and do these BDRs. And we were going to be going through the woods at night.
I mean, I guess there's a time that it could happen if you're trying to get to a certain point.
The only time I've ridden through the woods at night
is night ride.
When I have intentionally decided to go out and ride at night.
Yeah.
And so that $900 that you spent on auxiliary lighting for your new bike as a beginner rider,
it does look cool.
It looks awesome, but I bet you don't turn them on unless it's raining, and you're going to turn them on because you feel bad that you spent $900 on something you never turn it on.
Yeah.
You can probably wait on the auxiliary lighting as a new rider.
Unless you're getting like a really old bike that has like an incandescent light bulb in it.
Yeah.
Put a better headlight on it.
Maybe. That's $300, $200.
Yeah. It just helps you be seen.
That's super cheap compared to those big like auxiliary lightings. Sure. And, honestly, if it was me, and I would tell my dad this too, like looking back on it now, save that money that you spent and go buy you a nice adventure helmet.
Yes.
The money you would have spent on that lighting,
go
buy you a set of Tech 7s. Go get you a set of those. That's what I would advise new riders to do. So, no. Anything else off the top of your head that you're thinking of with equipment, things you can wait on? No?
Not right now. I'm sure I'll think of something.
Tires first. Protection.
Human protection first. Then bike tires.
I guess in fairness, I'm looking at just bike stuff. So if we're talking to those together, yeah, protect your body, protect your bike, get the right tires.
Yep, call it a day.
Those are the things I would look for. So, all right, next let's talk about, for adventure riding, budget gear. Can we do that?
Yeah.
One item that you won't ever cheap out on again? Give me one item when it comes to adventure bike riding that Ben Emery says not going cheap again.
Sleeping bags.
Okay, fair. That's good. But that's not about your bike.
Oh.
I mean, I share that sentiment with moto camping for sure. But as far as like you're buying a bike, you're getting gear for your bike.
I won't cheap out on. If it's an Amazon part, just don't buy it. We'll just go there.
You don't want the Temu gear for your
God.
bike.
I've tried to put so many of those on other people's bikes. At this point, I just tell people, if you bring in me Amazon parts, I'm not installing them.
Dude, I love like Gunny and Chad. Every time we go on a ride with them, it's some new Temu gear.
I do like watching the Temu gear sagas.
They are. It seriously is like a saga every time.
When it fails, they just eat it.
They don't complain about it.
They don't complain.
They're
They
like,
just
it's
rake
just
up
what it is.
They rake up the pine needles and they go to bed. You know who I'm talking to.
That's right.
Man, what would I not cheap out on my? I don't know.
When we talked about helmet,
yeah,
right? I don't think I would cheat out on a helmet.
Nope.
That's a non-negotiable. I'm going to spend money on that. What about riding gear like clothes, like jacket? Do you own an adventure jacket?
I do actually. I got it for free from BYKR Gear on Amazon or Instagram. They reached out to me like, "Hey, you want to try these?" I'm like, "Yeah, honestly, it's pretty good. I can't complain about it. It came with a little bit. It wasn't like super high end armor, but it came with armor and it's waterproof and it's windproof. And I think I've used it 4 or 5 times. And my kind of riding isn't normally needing adventure bike jackets. I normally just wear moto pants and a jersey and call it good. But
that's the way I am. I mean, you and I pretty much wear the same. As a matter of fact, I almost bought one of those.
The Temu. Speaking of Temu, the Temu Motoralls.
That's it.
Love them.
I'll put a link in the description for some Temu Motoralls if you want to rock it like us. But yeah, I was actually perusing through Facebook the other night, and I got an ad that popped up for the Ushuaia flannel jersey.
So, funny fact, you can't buy that in the U.S.
Really? It came up on my Facebook.
Try to buy it.
It won't let you?
Mm-mm. I even emailed them and was like, "Hey, I keep getting this, and it says it's not available in my country. What's the deal?" And they're like, "Oh, those aren't available in America." So that brand is out of like Sweden or something.
Yeah,
you can't do it. So I got on eBay and I ordered one from another country. That's
how you got it.
Yeah.
Well, I just about bought one the other night because I was like, I thought, man, that'd be cool if me and Ben we'd match. We'd be riding down the trail matching, and I just didn't hit. I didn't hit send. I didn't go.
Yep.
I didn't buy it. But I guess I wouldn't have been able to anyway.
Nope.
I would have been texting you.
How'd you get this?
Hey, Ben, how did you get that jersey?
I give you some kind of story about how they felt bad for me and sent it to me.
Yeah, you probably would have. You had me going down some rabbit hole about how I need to tell some sad story to the manufacturer or whatever. But, jackets and pants, I see a lot of stuff online for new riders. Like I actually think that some of the dream that they sell for adventure riding is from those companies that produce those
high-end
jackets
brands.
and I don't want to like get blackballed from that community because I use their gear, but like
and on big adventure bike rides, like doing a BDR, like the Montana BDR, that's a new one this year.
Yeah.
Some of that may be good because it's got the ventilation, it's got the waterproof. It's like 3 different kinds of gear in one.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends on, again, this question just keeps coming up. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Those adventure bike suits are pretty handy, but they also can get you in trouble where you're overheated very quickly because everybody wants to look cool, so you buy the all black gear. And it's hot, and then you're in South Dakota, and it's 110 that day, and you're in an all black adventure bike waterproof suit.
Yep.
There's just not one. There is not one gear that fits all situations.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. So you could go back to the question of what am I doing? There's a reason why all of the adventure bike YouTubers that you watch, when they show you a picture of their garage, they have totes full of gear. Different jackets, different helmets, different boots, and different things and tires. I watch guys and I see behind them in their background, they've got a rack of tires.
Yep. I am one of those guys.
There's a reason why, and they didn't start that way.
No, you start to find these weird niches that you enjoy doing, but
they didn't start with all that gear. A lot of them probably started a lot like me, just not having a bunch of money, wanting to do the dream, and and trying to find a budget way. So like, I'll give you some advice. If you're one of those people that says, I've got to have an adventure jacket and I got to have adventure pants, check out MSR. Like the Expedition adventure stuff is super affordable compared to competitors like Climb, right? It's super affordable. I've ran MSR jackets for a while. Actually, I almost never wear them anymore, honestly, but it was a good jacket. I probably put 10,000 miles on that riding.
I think my
gear.
adventure bike jacket actually gets used more sitting around camp as just like, I mean, it's cold in the evenings. We're sitting around the fire, and I wear my adventure bike jacket more for that than I do.
You use your whoopee?
I do use my
You
whoopee.
get your whoopee?
Shout out to those who know what a whoopee is.
So I'm not skimping on helmet. I'm willing to cut corners on my riding gear, my jacket, my pants, stuff like that. I'm not skipping on boots.
No, but you could, again, like we talked, you could buy the 3s instead of the 7s.
Yeah, or you could buy them used on Facebook. Dude, I found a set of Tech 7s the other day.
Don't buy used helmets.
Yeah. Well, fair. Helmets probably stay away from, but boots, if you get there and they smell like a cat crapped in them, that can be cleaned. Like you can get rid of that, but if they're not missing pieces and the bottom of the boot looks okay, it's not like completely gouged out in the arch, I found a set of Tech 7s the other day that looked like they were brand new for like $280 on Facebook. And I was like, if they didn't live 2 hours away, I would have bought those because that's half price, what those boots are. So you can find stuff like that on Marketplace, and don't be afraid to buy used boots. But yeah, Ben's right. Stay away from those used helmets, man, because you never know.
Yeah, I've got a helmet that it's been abused. It's not safe to wear anymore, but it does not look. It looks very good.
Yeah.
So don't buy used helmets.
Fair. Deal. I will not buy a used helmet.
Good.
Okay. All right, so let's move on. We've talked about gear and we've beat that to death. We talked about bikes, talked about gear. Let's talk about training. Adventure training?
Yeah. I had a conversation with a guy the other day. He's wanting to get into more aggressive riding. And
who is this? Oh, I guess we can name him, or
I mean, I can.
You don't have to say it.
I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want him.
I don't know who wants to be and who doesn't.
We don't want to incriminate anybody.
Anyway,
in our storytelling,
he was messaging me and wanting to buy a new motorcycle to get into more aggressive stuff, and he had a pretty capable dual sport as it was. It was just bone stock, and the exact conversation we had was, don't worry about going and buying a new $10,000 motorcycle. Take that money. Let's get better tires. Let's get suspension, and then spend the rest of that on training and gas, to where you can just get the seat time. And honest to God, I think if you get your suspension dialed in and you get your tire situation dialed in for the type of riding that you want to do, you go do some training just to get your feet wet and get you going and teach you things you don't know, you're going to be way better off.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Like owning an adventure bike, it doesn't make you an adventure rider. Right? We can go through and buy the bike, we can buy the gear, but it doesn't really make you a rider.
Yep. And you don't know what you don't know. So you got to find somebody that does know.
And yeah, you got to find people that and we'll talk about that a little bit as well. But as far as the training goes, I didn't have any formal training for adventure riding when I first started. I have since gone to a training that was killer, by the way. I went to Tom Asher's Rock Crusher training in Georgia. And that was the hard adventure training. It was his top tier level training. And I had a blast. I mean, I was sick the whole time. I had a stomach bug or something like that. And that was miserable. But like the riding and the skills that he taught were great. Do I feel like I'm a notably better rider today because of that training? No.
No, but I have noticed some confidence.
Confidence
in
is
certain
different.
situations since you've come home from that class.
Confidence changed, but the skills were built from riding because we ride so much. Like you and I ride motorcycles off road a lot.
I try to go every weekend.
You know what I mean? Like we ride motorcycles off road a lot, and the real skill comes from repetition and riding, and making mistakes and picking your bike up and learning the hard. I think just learning the hard way, but training provides something that the time in the seat is really hard to get. It's hard to get confident just riding every week.
You can learn. You can go to training and you can learn it, or you can ride and just watch YouTube videos. and you might get to the same place.
Yep.
One of those is going to be a lot faster.
A lot faster. Yep. And I think that the adventure training for me was a huge confident boost. And for a lot of reasons. One is I learned some skills that I didn't know, right? And that gave me confidence in myself. But also I saw how I did compared to other riders.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us, and you watching this, if you're an adventure rider and you're getting into this, you're going to build your own riding community. And chances are for the first year or two of your riding, your circle is going to be small of people that you're going to ride with. Like you're going to find your couple people that you like to spend time with and you're going to go ride with them. And you're going to compare your skills to them, and those people that you're in your group. And so going to a training and seeing how you actually your skills stack up against other people you've never ridden with before can be a huge confidence boost. Or it can be, or it could be the opposite. I guess it could be the opposite. For me, it was a confidence booster.
As a beginner, don't worry about measuring yourself up to everybody else, though. Just ride your own ride.
Sure. I was talking about, I went to that training. I was 3 years into my riding career. Yeah. But if you're new, I was going to say like the training I took my son to for off-road riding, huge for him. It taught him some basic skills, gave him a large amount of confidence. Now he's not crazy or anything.
You're talking about the Learn to Ride Tennessee.
Yeah, I took him to the Learn to Ride and then Ride On Academy up by Chicago.
Yep.
And both of those trainings for him, they were both like introduction to dirt trainings, and he loved it. And so I would say, training is good. Don't expect to be a YouTube hero after one training class, but I do think it does build confidence and it gives you a platform to work on.
It definitely did for Heather. She went to the Tom Asher intermediate class, and it helped out a lot.
Yeah, she helicopter. Is that what you guys are always joking about, the helicopter feet?
The helicopter feet.
Which I didn't, when I first started riding off road. In fairness, like I rode with guys who were way better than me, and you were one of those. I think today you're a better rider than you were when we first started riding together. But like you were better than me back then by a large margin, and Greg used to, Greg's a fantastic off-road rider. And I was, following you guys and learning from you and just kind of soaking in all the information that I could from you guys. And I was really lucky that I had that. But I think a lot of new riders are not going to have that community to start with. They're not going to learn from guys who...
Maybe not, but also don't be scared to jump in with a group that's a little more advanced than you are.
I was scared. It's okay to be scared. Can we talk about our feelings a little bit?
I've got a sticker on the front of Heather's bike that says, "Do it scared until you can do it skilled."
I've seen that 100 times.
Yep.
And I love that sticker. Do it scared until you can do it
skilled.
Skilled.
And then I recite it to her because it's on the front of her
I
bike.
bet she loves that, dude.
I'm sure she does.
I bet she loves that. Just keep telling her. What about the cost of training?
It's expensive, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
What was it? 2-day class, like $500.
$500 probably, $500 or $600.
That's not a small amount of money. But if you do one of those every now and then, or even just do one just to get you going, I would advise somebody to take a class over going to a rally at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then again, I don't know. It just depends on your riding situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Adventure riding is expensive.
Adventure riding, especially getting into it. I think once you have your equipment and you're into it,
it lasts.
I think your equipment, if you buy the right equipment, lasts a long time. But the initial investment to become an adventure rider and get into that, it can be high. So if you think about it like this, if you spend, let's say that you just go out and buy a $10,000 motorcycle, you buy $2,000 worth of accessories for your bike, and then you buy $2,000 worth of gear for you. I'm not really great at math. You can check me on this, but
it's more than $6.
It's $14,000 to $15,000 you've invested, and you can go to a $500 training and learn how to use those things that you purchased. That's 1%.
Yeah,
1%, less than 1%. it's half of 1%. You know what I mean? It's such a small amount to what you spent to get into the sport.
Somebody's going to do the math and put it in here. And tell me
Yeah, I
I'm
hope
wrong.
you do too. Hope you do that. Remind me of how I don't know how to do math. 'Cause I don't have that many fingers. I am wearing sandals though, so I could use my toes.
Whip them out. Put them on the counter.
I don't like it when you say whip them out like that to me. That makes me a little bit uncomfortable.
This little piggy went to the market. You know what is cheap and you have to have to adventure bike ride? You don't have to have, but
I do know. Nerds gummies.
trail vitamins.
These trail vitamins are a lifesaver. And if you're new to adventure riding, I would definitely encourage you to pick up a bag of these. As a matter of fact, I'll drop a link right here for you. If you want to purchase trail vitamins,
They got big bags.
trail vitamins will keep you going when the road tries to keep you down.
Nerds.
That's your
Call me.
Nerds' unofficial sponsor
Yeah.
of the channel. But yeah,
I wish they'd be an official sponsor.
I was super excited though. Nerds, we've been giving them a shout out for months.
They commented on one of the posts.
and finally they commented. Nerds International commented on one of my social media posts. So I keep hoping that one day I'll get a phone call. But you
They
know,
know we exist.
yeah, I just realized they don't have my phone number.
They've got people.
I'm not going to put it on here though because I'll have some weirdo. I'll have some weird dude.
Sending you texts to come look at bikes.
That's not going to happen, guys. Not going to happen.
Send me a DM on Facebook. I'll send you his phone number.
Yeah. Please send Ben all of your DMs. All right. So speaking of sending Ben your DMs, let's talk about how we make friends in the adventure community, right? Because that can be a challenge too for new riders. How do you
Start by sending DMs on Facebook.
Why not? Everybody else does.
Yeah.
Everybody else does. The truth is the adventure community is way more open than people expect, right? It's a great place to find people that have like interest. The problem is the majority of adventure riders out there, they are all the same.
Reclusive.
They're reclusive, right? They're great people. They're just not outgoing people. Like there's a reason why you're buying the dream to get away from everybody.
Yep.
You know, it's
And
because
then we all go to rallies where everybody's at.
that's right. Then we get 500 people together in a little campground, and then we wonder, like, why are we just walking by people looking at the ground as we're walking by? You know, it's people are adventure riders by nature. Did you snarl? Did you just? I've never been growled at.
You get too close to my campsite.
If you have, adventure riders are super great people, and they share a lot of common interests, but they are reclusive. So a great way to make friends for me was to go to rallies. Like I in fact sent you a DM
That's exactly how that works.
and I was like, "Hey Ben, can I come tag along?"
Yep.
Granted, my behavior at the rally warranted the ability to go next time.
Come again.
Right. So if you show up and you're one of those weirdo people, that makes everyone uncomfortable at the camp and doesn't want to ride with the right group. And, like if you're that guy, you're going to have a lot of trouble finding friends in the adventure community. But if you can get along with people and respect people's boundaries, like just go, man. Just go to a rally and talk to people. Because
Or just join the Facebook groups. There's a ton of, we're
Yeah.
fortunate we've got a ton of riding local, but you can,
not everybody has local riding where they can connect. And that's a challenge for some people around the country.
Yeah.
I mean, you're normally, no matter where you live, you're normally not more than 3 or 4 hours away from a place to ride. But like we have it
We're very fortunate.
right here, dude. Like we have an awesome place. You and I can go kick it 30 minutes from the house, So the truth is when you're wanting to build your community, online forums are great. Like you mentioned, rallies to me are the best way to meet new people. Everyone's there and they're happy because they're not at work.
Yeah.
They're out living the dream. They're doing the thing, and it's the best place. Oh, let me ask you this: have you ever went to a rally and not met someone new that you enjoyed being around?
No. Actually, at the last rally, Get On Adventure Fest, me and another guy were talking about how I don't know that I've ever went to a rally and not come home and have like 3 or 4 friend requests on Facebook or something.
That's
Just
Larry,
people,
man.
Yeah.
Larry, yeah, he said that in the last podcast we did. He's like, I don't think I've been to rallies before that I've met people I did not want to ride with again. But I've also met at least a dozen people at every rally that I'm like, those are cool people.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're my people. Like they're people I can message and say, you guys want to hook up and go do a ride. So build your adventure community by spending time with people and, take a risk.
Don't be afraid to show up to these rallies and just talk to groups and be like, hey, what are you guys riding tomorrow?
Take the risk, man. It's worth asking the question because you never know. You might find your Ben. And that's scary to some people, but it was really good for me to meet the group of riders that you introduced me to. You might find that just by taking a chance and saying, hey, man, can I tag along and go do something with you guys? So be bold and take the risk. That's my advice.
Yep. Otherwise, you can send DMs with feet pics to people and see.
Now, why you gotta do the feet pics? Why is it got? Why? I guess all things considered, I would rather have feet pics than other types of pics.
There's all kinds of pictures you could send. It might make friends. It might not. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm not sure you want those kinds of friends, guys. So what else? Is there anything else on the for the new riders that we need to hit before we wrap up tonight?
I don't have anything. I don't know. I'm sure as soon as we turn that camera off, I'll have all kinds of ideas.
That's always the way it works. Are you enjoying the podcast, the Kickstand Sessions?
Yeah.
I think it's actually kind of cool because what's funny is over the years of riding, I felt like a noob, and I still do.
Dude, I feel more like a noob now than when I started. When I started, I didn't know what I don't know, and now I do know. And I know that I'm not very good.
Yeah. Well, and the more you ride and travel, and the better you get at riding, the more diverse your crowd becomes that you're around.
Mm-hmm.
And I go ride with people like Tom Asher,
mm-hmm.
and I'm like, I suck at riding.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's one of those things that, like, I've been doing this for a while. I feel like I don't know enough because I look at the people now that I look up to and ride with, and they're so far beyond me. But then I look back at where I started. We really have come a long way, man. We've learned a lot of things over the years. And there's a lot more to talk about, but for tonight, I think we're going to have to wrap up there. If you're enjoying these new podcast episodes of Kickstand Sessions, I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel. And we're going to try to put out some more of these podcast episodes because Ben currently cannot ride a motorcycle.
And it's killing me. It's been like 2 weeks not on a bike, and
What do you do when you can't ride a bike? We talk about bikes.
I sit on my couch with my handlebars and make noises, but I don't know about you guys.
All right. I got nothing left. I have just sit on your... Have you made your hobby bike yet?
No. That'd be great.
You've had 2 weeks off. What have you been doing?
Digging holes in my backyard like an armadillo.
You got the armadillo?
I got the armadillo. Can't ride bikes. I've been running mini X's just digging holes.
Viewer takeaway, I think what would be really important is for you to send Ben a DM. He's building a new house and wants to have you over for a barbecue to talk about adventure riding.